Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Clifford's Corner. Encouraging, empowering, equipping, educating, and show enough entertaining you. That's what we do. First, I want to recognize our sponsor for the show, Golden D Hairline, extensions, eyelashes, wigs, and weaves, and bundles. Get your edges snatched. Yeah, snatched, I said, at goldendhairline.com. Check them out. Check out their website. Today, we have our guest, DaleLynn Bradshaw-Settle. Going to bring her in right now. Good morning, Dale. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So we want to introduce Dale. I just want to give you a brief bio, and I'm going to let Dale tell you about Dale. Dale was featured in People magazine. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So give everybody just a brief bio about you and what you're doing right now.
So, hey, everybody, I'm Dale. I am the owner of Be Her Now. It is a fitness and apparel health and wellness company. Basically, it is inspiring women to be the woman they were created to be now. As Clifford said, I was featured in People magazine January of last year, as well as here in Houston on the Mad Hatter Morning Show, Good Day Live with Deborah Duncan. My story was also featured on Good Morning America. Some ladies from the People magazine article who was featured with me in the Half Their Size article took our story to Good Morning America, and my video was showed on it as well. And I basically have just been traveling, sharing my story, and making awareness to health and wellness, as well as making awareness to anxiety and depression and ways that you can combat those mental illnesses.
Okay, great. And those are mental illnesses, by the way. And I read somewhere recently that we as a people, Black people, shy away from mental illness issues, either we don't acknowledge them, or when they are acknowledged, they're not treated. We don't get treated as in we don't treat it, or we don't treat it as medically the same as anyone else does. So tell us how your journey started, where we start to get to be here now.
Yeah, so I totally agree with what you said about mental illness not being something that we recognize in the Black community. And I can just say for my family as well, obviously all of our parents who really love us do the best that they can, but if they're not exposed or aware of mental illness, they don't necessarily know what the signs and symptoms are. So they thought they just had like a typical 19-year-old, going from preteen or teenage years to adult years trying to find their way, but they didn't know that I was battling clinical depression, which I was later diagnosed with, as well as general anxiety disorder. And so that is kind of how it started, not being aware of what was happening to me and just going through all of the signs that you see when someone is labeled depressed, all of those signs from not being wanting to engage and socialize, having really high highs and then very low lows, staying in my room for long periods of time, uncontrollable crying and not knowing why, and basically not dealing with those symptoms and not dealing with my issues caused me to continue on life. But those symptoms never went away. The issues never really went away. And so by the time I really recognized that I had a problem, I was in my 20s, I was married, I had a daughter. Wow. And then my focus goes from me getting the help that I need shifts to the new life that I had. Wow. So I definitely believe that awareness, number one, is key. Making people comfortable with talking about it. Number two, not belittling our family and friends. And then lastly, getting the necessary help is what I did to kind of combat my depression and anxiety.
Right. And I know I don't know. I'm speaking from Blackology. I think that that we don't recognize, for so many years, every family has somebody, every family has somebody that we label crazy per se.
Right.
And instead of what I've seen, we don't address that. They go through life being medicated, and that's not, the medication may help, but it doesn't solve the problem at all.
Right. I think in our community, especially where I come from, a Christian background, it's like we want to pray the crazy away, right, and we want to pray everything away. But the Bible says faith without works is dead. So there's work that has to be done. You can pray all day, but if the work is not being done, then it's kind of productive. You know what I mean? Where God will always do his part. He's just waiting on us to do our part. So I think that when we start to get people help, like therapy saved my life.
Right. Wow.
It really did, because there was not too many people that could really help me and really help me see myself. And so I had to go through therapy several different times in my life, several different instances where I would go through therapy and get the necessary help. So I would definitely say that not labeling family members crazy, but getting them the help that they need
Right.
it's probably is I won't say preventable, but it also helps us to be able to manage our depression, manage our anxiety.
Right. And from depression, and correct me if I'm wrong. From depression, it seems like depression is the breeding ground for other type of ailments and emotions. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. One of the things that I learned with dealing with depression is that it can actually take a toll on your physical body. So it starts to show itself with body aches, pain, headaches, migraines. It can like literally not able to physically. I was 20, 21. I don't know, 21 when I had my daughter, so like 22 with a 1-year-old, not able to physically get out of bed. And it's not because I was being lazy. I could not move, crippling. So sometimes when it gets that bad, it can definitely do that. It can also affect your mind, not just like your mental state, but it can cause suicidal thoughts. And even some of the medication. One time I was put on this medication and I started hallucinating like crazy. And I was on it for like 2 days and I was like, never again. Then another medication that I was on by a doctor, the side effects were like, may cause suicidal thoughts. And I'm like, isn't it supposed to cure my suicidal thoughts?
Right.
So I don't know. Me and the medication, it worked when I needed it, but it was kind of scary at some points. But I definitely recommending you seeing your doctor, and not just your MD, your medical doctor, but also a therapist or a life coach or someone that can kind of help you, because it does cause physical pain in your body.
Right. And let me say I have a comment. Ken Jerome Harvey. Awareness is the key. Many cope with undiagnosed disorders with drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, and etc. And that is true. Thank you, Ken. A lot of times, people don't address issues by addressing it. They turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they turn to suicide. And I often wonder when I hear of someone committing suicide, I wonder, how did they get to that point? Did someone not recognize those symptoms? And maybe we don't know how
right.
to, so how would someone recognize the symptoms of depression and all the other emotion, anxiety and all of that? How would someone recognize that?
Really, you can just, I'm not trying to be funny, but you literally could Google the symptoms of depression, and there's a checklist, and you can just check off, okay, I'm dealing with that, I'm dealing with that. And it starts off really small, but I'll tell you some of the basic signs of depression. Lack of interest, okay? Lack of interest in everyday items and activities that you do every day, things that you do on a regular, you're losing your interest in. Not wanting to socialize. If you're a very social person, all of a sudden you start to become very reclusive and you don't want to be around people. That's one. Lack of appetite or overeating can also be a symptom. No physical activity, crying uncontrollably sometimes in bouts and spells where you'll be fine one moment and then all of a sudden you'll just start crying for no reason. Bursts of anger, outbursts of anger, just mad at everybody, people not doing anything to you, just mad for no reason. So here's the difference. This is uncontrollable. There are some times when you can just be having a temper tantrum. You can do all of this stuff. And there are other times when you're dealing with clinical depression, you cannot control these emotions because it's something that's going on in your mind.
Okay.
It's not a switch that you can't turn off. So medicine does help. And sometimes it takes up to 2 to 3 weeks to start to see results. So I would definitely say these are attributes that happen and you cannot control it.
Right. Okay. So let's fast forward. So when we're progressing to be her now. So all those symptoms and those situations that you mentioned led to your weight gain. Is that correct?
Yes.
So talk about how that led to the weight gain, and then give us a number, because we want to go from what I read, because I'm not gonna reveal it. What I read your weight was versus what it is now. So go.
So when I started the journey, didn't know that it was before the beginning was, I was always a small child. I was never overweight. I was obviously thicker than most kids because I went to like a predominantly white school where most people were just kind of straighter than I was, if you know what I mean. I had a little bit more than other people. So I always compare myself to their body type. But now when I look back on pictures, I didn't realize I was small. So by the time I got married, between the first year of engagement and marriage, I went from like 180 and I'm 5'9" to 265. That should have been a light bulb right there. Like, Paul, what's going on? But neither here nor there. Their journey kept I kept the weight gain up. And then by the time I had my second child, I was at 280. And then when the life tragedy hit, which started my weight loss journey, I was at 302 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 302 pounds, stuffing myself in a size 22, 24. My smallest weight ever, I think, is like 155. And I got back up a little bit because I wanted to feel like myself and look like myself. And obviously, I had a child, and your body changes when you deliver a baby. And so I'm like about 170 now. And that part of the journey started due to the fact that I lost my sister, 34 years old. She had something called an aortic dissection. So basically, the aorta, the vessel that leads to the heart, it burst instantly outside of her house, January 2nd, 2014. That was the light bulb moment. Everybody talks about a light bulb moment. Some people say, oh, I fell out of a chair and I was big. That was my light bulb moment. Some people say I went to the doctor's office and the scale wasn't big enough for me. I wish my light bulb moment was like that small, but it was literally losing my 34-year-old sister, Nikki. And basically, the aorta was pumping so hard that blood was going through so hard, it burst instantly. The doctor says high blood pressure related.
Wow.
Mind you, it took us 8 weeks to get the autopsy results. So when we get to the hospital, none of us know how she died. None of us know what happened. We just know that they say there's an emergency, get here. So we get to the hospital, and then when they tell us that Nikki had passed away, we couldn't believe it. My parents had 7 children, and Nikki was one of the second to the oldest. So she was like our big sister. She's my big sister, obviously, but one of my best friends. And 8 weeks after her death, we get the autopsy report, and that's when it tells us an aortic dissection. My mom she called literally the medical examiner's office from the day they received my sister's body to the day she got the results. She called every single day. Y'all know anything? What's going on? Why is it taking so long? For 8 weeks, she called. So finally, when the doctor actually responded and said, "Hey, I do have her results back. I was just getting ready to give you a call." She three-ways me on the call so that I could hear what the doctor's saying, and the medical examiner basically called it a PAAD. So basically, this aortic dissection is very rare in women, and then people of color. Usually, you hear it on the news; they'll just call it a heart attack. And people like Jack from Three's Company,
Right.
from this. Alan Thicke, Robin Thicke, the singer's dad, who's a TV legend, he died from it as well. So it's usually older white males. You probably like, how do you know this? I researched the mess out of this. I was like, how did my sister, seemingly healthy, standing there, mother of 3, just die like that? Wow. So I started researching about this, and lo and behold, it literally took her, the medical examiner said, between 8 and 20 seconds she was gone. And I had a panic attack at the hospital the day after she died, and I started to break out. I started to itch. I couldn't breathe. My anxiety was being triggered, and my dad took me to the hospital, to the doctor's office to kind of get some tests and see what was going on. Come to find out, I got on the scale, and that's when I found out I was 302 pounds. I still thought I was in the 270, 260, 280
Right.
before I got there. And I did.
Right. So when you and let me say, you have done well. Sister passing, a lot of people that have not experienced death. I had a sibling, a twin that passed away, and I can say that and I'm not getting churchy, but if it hadn't been, they sing the song, if it hadn't been for the Lord on my side, I mean, because friends will leave you, they mean well, and sometimes I really believe that that God puts you in a situation where you only can rely on Him. I really believe that He does that. Because and He does that because He's God. He doesn't need my permission.
To be God, He doesn't need my permission, and He makes decisions without consulting me.
Right. And look here, and I got in my cheat notes. I know that you sing. That's first thing, and then I know that you come from church. So I had made up my mind that whenever you say something churchy, I was gonna go like that. Whenever.
It's funny because I do it at home a lot. My daughter's father now, he literally gets like churchy, and I go. Got a little hum of praise.
Okay, well, good. You got to praise in your spirit. Okay, so
up.
Yeah. And wait, and shout out to my boy David Settle in the house. What's up, David? Yeah, that's okay. So talk about when you noticed the weight gain. How did you? Because it is. Let me use me for instance before I say this. It's kind of like a precursor. I realized I had gained weight, and me, my wife and I got a trainer. And I lost like 30 something pounds. Mm-hmm. And then something happened where we weren't walking and exercising because we walk in the mornings, and the weight came back like atrocious. And it is hard to get that weight off so let's talk about when you realized on that scale at that hospital that you were 3, whatever it was, and some change. What did you do to get to where you are now? How did you motivate yourself?
Listen, two things motivated me: losing a loved one and just being that heavy. I'll tell you this: everybody deals with grief differently. Some people in my family don't talk about my sister's passing. Some people eat through the grief. Some people drink through their grief. I just channeled my energy towards fitness. So I always say, and even in my People magazine article, I always say my sister's death saved my life. So if it had not been for that incident, I'm not sure I would have went as hard as I did. I
Right.
had something to push me. Like I've always had something to push me, whether it be my children. But this right here, this is something that took, like, literally knocked the wind out of me. So I didn't. It was kind of like fight or flight, and this was probably going to be my last chance to get it off.
Right.
So I started with, I have another sister. Matter of fact, the reason why I'm outside is because I have a class. It's called Be Her Now Fit Camp, and my sister is the trainer. And she's my baby sister Deanna. She's been a trainer for years, and so she actually worked for the YMCA. So I reached out to her and I said, "D, I need your help." And I went cold turkey everything. I was so serious about it all. But what I did was I reached out to Deanna, and Deanna was my motivator and my encourager when I first started the journey. And of course, if anybody knows anything about life, it's not just smooth sailing. You go through highs and lows. And so I went through lots of highs and lows to get the weight off. A lot of people love to ask me how long did it take. And I literally say I'm still in the journey. But to get to my lowest, I would say literally like 4 years, because I had a set of twins in between that. My daughter's 11 months, she turned 11 months this week. So I've had lots of different highs and lows in between that. And a lot of people want it quick, but it takes some time to keep it off.
Right. Let me pause right now and recognize our sponsor. Sponsoring the show today, Golden D Hairline. That's Golden D as in David Settle, that is. Golden D Hairline. Extensions, eyelashes, wigs, weaves, bundles, and more. Get your edge and snatch. GoldenDHairline.com. Okay, so let's talk about how do you keep the weight? Because a lot of people, like I said, we gain the weight, but every time I pass by Whataburger, that number 2 is like waving for me to come in there and get the number 2 sandwich and all of that. How do we conquer those urges to stop and get food or something like that? Okay, we're going to wait for DaleLynn to come back. But in the meantime, going to be talking. We're talking today about DaleLynn Bradshaw-Settle's journey through the struggles, emotional struggles, depression, emotional issues, how the issues led to her weight gain. She also mentioned that it started when she recognized that her sister had passed, and she realized that she was over 300 pounds, and she decided, to take it upon herself to get help, to help herself first. So we realize in our community, in the community wide, mental issues are not really addressed as they should. Sometimes they're swept under the rug due to people might not even recognize what those symptoms are. They might not recognize, how it goes. They might not recognize the depression issues. They might not recognize someone that's suicidal. And we all know, we read in the news where someone is going through things, it might be depression, or someone dies in their family. And we tend to get on our high horse and talk about them, as well as talk about them and not necessarily say, hey, this person has a problem, this person has an issue, and we need to basically deal with that. So, it's always a problem, or an issue, that is, if we don't address mental health. Mental health is a breeding ground, like I said, for a lot of other issues. Depression. Do you recognize someone that's depressed? Excuse me, that's depressed. Do you know what it looks like? Do you know the symptoms of depression? It is always a good idea, with the invention of the internet, to just Google those symptoms. So, and that's not saying that you make a clinical diagnosis. That is saying that at the least, go talk to them, go find some professional help about that particular issue. Distress. Do we recognize depression? Do we recognize anxiety? I worked with a guy that had anxiety issues. He had a panic attack. And at first, I didn't know what that was. I thought he was playing because I did not know what a panic attack was. And then I was like, okay, how can someone get so panic? How can someone panic so much to where, they can't function? Because we were raised. My dad was an educator at Prairie View A&M University. Shout out PVU. And we were raised to deal with that situation. Whatever it is, you deal with it. And it seems like now, they gave us the tools to be able to deal with those issues. We were groomed to deal with those issues. They basically said, okay, we are giving you the tools to handle stress. We're giving you the tools to handle anxiety. We're giving you the tools to handle depression. And then we, my brother and my sisters, we were always taught, if there was an issue, to go talk to our parents. A lot of times, children, adults, you need to reach out to someone if you're battling anxiety, stress, depression, other emotions. You need to reach out to someone before it gets to a point where you can't handle it. That means you start having suicidal thoughts. You start eating. Excuse me. You start having other drinking. Ken Harvey said you start using what we call a crutch. And then, and let me say this. This is not a license for people to do what they want to do. However, if you have a family member that does resort to those things, sex, drugs, alcohol, whatever, if they do that, Dale is coming back. If they do that, thank you, Dale.
Absolutely. So sorry, it's so hot outside. My phone was
That's okay. Hold on just a minute. So if they do that, don't jump on them for resorting to alcohol and drugs or whatever. You need to be there for them. So Dale, thank you for coming back to the stream. Let's talk about Be Her Now.
Yes. So Be Her Now started because I was feeling like, you know what, I didn't have what I am offering now. I didn't know of that around me. Not to say it didn't exist. I just didn't have it. I didn't have a support system to get the weight off. I didn't have anybody in my circle that went through what I went through. Not just about death, but just like parenting and how to be a working mom, how to be a stay-at-home mom. I've done it all. How to go to school while raising children. And so the premise of Be Her Now is to encourage women to be the woman that they were created to be right now. Like, don't wait and say, okay, you know what, Monday, I'll get on the journey Monday. No, like, start now on your journey, even if it's just for a small walk. That's the first thing I did. I just started walking. Right. I didn't know what to do, but Be Her Now is saying, listen, today. And so it's not just fitness related. It's also related to just everyday life, everyday living, just doing things right now, not putting it off tomorrow, because I keep thinking to myself, my sister had plans for the next day. Right. She had plans for her children. She had plans for her future. Right. And at the time, her children were like 7, 8, and 3 when she passed. Wow. So I know that she would have never left them. So I'm always thinking, like, my kids need me, so I need to do whatever it is that I need to do. I need to do it now.
Right. And so I hope you all heard what she said. Be Her Now. And that's a perfect title, because it suggests don't procrastinate. I'm not. Don't get mad at me if you're overweight and all that stuff. Don't get mad. But you're not going to lose weight getting up, thinking about walking or exercising, and a little bit. My wife and I walk 2 miles a day. That's all we're doing right now. But and I have to stop coming down on people. And this is what I do, Dale. When I see people walk by my house and they're walking real slow, I'll be the first one to say, "Hey, man, walking that slow not going to do you no good." But they're doing something is better than nothing.
Yep.
So those that are having weight struggles, give them something to encourage them. Tell them something that will encourage them real quick if you could.
Really, like, the fact that you're walking right now, you're lapping people that are sitting there at home. So keep going, because you're doing something. And like you said, something is definitely better than nothing. I remember when I was on Great Day Houston with Deborah Duncan, they put my information across the screen, and people of all sizes kept reaching out to me. And one person that really stood out to me was a lady that was in the 400s. And wow. She kept saying, I can't stop stopping. I keep trying. And I keep stopping. And I said, if you don't like stopping, stop stopping. Keep going. Like, you won't see the results if you keep stopping. And right. Here's the problem with weight gain. You start losing weight, then you stop. The weight comes, sometimes it doubles.
It does.
So now it's even harder to lose it.
Right. And that's what happened with me. I'm not gonna say it doubled, but it came back, and it's hard, as you know, it's hard to get off. But I'm like you. I want to be here. I want to be healthy, because what I've noticed is, particularly we're talking about weight, particularly when you get older, like me, I stayed skinny. My wife and I were just looking at some pictures yesterday. Yep. I was skinny a long time, and then the metabolism starts slowing down. You start you don't exercise, and then it catches up with you. So for all of y'all there's like me, that's going to Whataburger, Boudreaux's, and chicken, and Popeye's chicken, and all that 2-piece on Tuesdays, that's going to catch up with you in the long run. You need to eat healthier. You need to make healthy choices. Right.
And so, I always say you get fit in the gym, but you lose weight in the kitchen. So it's really about your food. It's not an 80-20. It's not 80% kitchen. It's a both and, because if you want to be fit, tight, and toned, you got to work out. But if you really want to lose weight, I know so many people that cannot, because of physical disabilities and ailments, they can't work out. They actually lose more weight in the kitchen by what they eat. Right. So you lose weight in the kitchen, but you get fit in the gym.
Right. There we go. So tell everybody about Be Her Now, the website, the apparel. Tell everybody about that real quick, and how they can get in contact with you.
For sure. So Be Her Now, the website is really BeeHerNow.com, and it's with 2 E's, because I thought about the queen bee, and we're all queens, and so we're being the queen that we were created to be. But on the website right now, you can go online, and if you want a free consultation just to see some services that I offer, I'm offering group training, I'm offering one-on-one training, Zoom training, and like I said, today I just wrapped up 9 a.m. every Saturday, first and third Saturday mornings. I'm doing a fit camp / Zumba. So my sister brings all the Zumba moves, and then I do some of the fit camp, boot camp stuff on Saturdays. Also, the apparel is at BeHerNow.com. You can shop. We have t-shirts, we have the mask, we have leggings, we have biking shorts, and I'm getting ready really, really soon to release 2-piece sets. So that's also going on. We're going to get ready to do some kids camps to help keep the kids in shape and kind of help parents burn off some of that energy. I was telling David the other day that I was noticing with our twins will be 4, but I was noticing with them that when we tire them out, they sleep so much better. They're not fussing about bedtime. They literally be like, okay, good night, mommy, good night, dad, and then they they take their baths, go put on their jammies, and they're so much more easier to put down to sleep, because they have burnt off all this energy. So we're gonna be offering some kids cardio as well to kind of help the kids be kids now.
Okay, so tell everybody where you all are doing the boot camp.
So the fit camp, like I said, every Saturday, 9 a.m., first and third. I am standing outside McClendon Park. That is for Summit Valley. It's in the Alief area of Southwest Houston. So I'm right off of West Park and Highway 6. If you follow me on any social media, you can go to Be Her Now on Facebook. You can even go to Be Her Now on Instagram, or my personal page on Instagram at Queen Dales. You can check out the link. Will tell you exactly how to get here to the park, but it's $10. And here's the fun part. We actually have it set up live stream. So all of our ladies were live streaming, watching us work out. They're in the chat. So while my sister's working out with the ladies, they're chatting me going, girl, I'm feeling this thing. I'm about to turn my camera on, because they like getting into it. And so if you're not here in Houston, if you can't make it, you could just live stream the videos, but go to BeHerNow.com so you can see the flyer, and you can find out exactly how to meet us here every first and third Saturday.
Okay, great. So Dale, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I love the energy that I love that. That's great. So I want you to, we're going to close out. I want you to just encourage not only women, but those that are going through the struggles from where I'm kind of hanging my hat on when you lost your sister, and it seemed like everything happened after that.
Yes.
So kind of give some encouraging words as we get ready to wrap up here.
I would basically say, there's a scripture that talks about being patient in trial and persevering. Being patient is one of the biggest things that I've always said I'm not a patient person, but God will put you in situations and positions where you have to be patient. The process to losing weight, the process to getting through hard times, the process to getting through any situation, not just weight loss, but separation, divorce, the process to get through really COVID right now with our kids. We don't know what's happening with them with school. It's patience and endurance. You got to go through to get through. So in order, like Steve Harvey said one day, if you're in hell, why would you stop there? You got to push through the hell that you're going through to get to the other side. And then when you get to the other side, it's not going to always be roses, but it will definitely be worth it. Endure and be patient and have hope that something good is coming on the other side. I'm just a church girl, so the last scripture that I could think of is a scripture that held dear to me, and it was in Proverbs, and it says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick." When you feel hopeless, you feel sick, you feel depressed because you don't know. I mean, honestly, as moms, we're feeling hopeless right now. We got to keep our kids at home, but it's just something small like that. But hopelessness makes you feel sick. And so hope deferred makes the heart sick. Have hope. Have hope to know that you'll get out of whatever it is that you're feeling, but you got to put in some work because nothing works but work.
There we go. There we go. You know, look, when I have you on the next time, I'm gonna get me somebody to play an organ, Hammond behind. So when you talk, they're gonna come. They're gonna help you out. I think they call it help you close out.
Help me close out, and we're gonna do a little shout of praise at the end, huh?
Yes, ma'am. So again, we want to thank you, Dale, for coming on. We are inspired by your story. We will support you. Tell everybody again your website and social media platforms if you could.
For sure. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Be Her Now, BEE Her Now. Also, the website is BeHerNow.com. And I'm pretty active on social media. My personal page on social media on Instagram is Queen Dales. That's Queen and then DALEZ. I talk about faith, family, fashion, fitness, and food because I am still a foodie.
Okay. Okay. All right. We want to thank you for coming on. Have a good day.
You as well. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so there we go. We're gonna wrap up the show. It's been an awesome show today with Dale, talking about faith, family, fitness, and I hope that you can always go back and replay this. We're gonna the live YouTube version we're gonna post on the Clifford's Corner Instagram page. Also, I need to let you know that we will be doing giveaways, e-card giveaways. You can only receive an e-card giveaway if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, if you like our Instagram, if you follow us on Instagram or like our Facebook page. You will not be qualified to receive the e-gift card if you have to like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think that's fair. So let me close it out with this thought. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. Thank you. Have a good day.